Morning. Afternoon. Evening. Oh, it's just water in a can.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
Hi, Mike. We failed to ask you about Jalen Waddle on Monday. Is he going to practice today? Is he healthy to play Sunday? I know he just ran out of time. Do you expect to happen Sunday, and do you expect to happen today at practice?
He's he's a tough competitor, very tough kid. I'm very confident that if he is able to, he will. I think I'm optimistic. I don't expect to see much from him today. But technically, I've already seen him a couple times today. But he's going to be working diligently. It's important to him to play with his teammates. He's as you guys noticed at the end of training camp, he's a hard guy to really. You really have to be in front of everything with him and be his own voice of reason, because he likes to push stuff, and we like guys like that because our medical staff can do their jobs and keep them out of harm's way.
Mike, you've had several plays lately where you've had some good success downing the ball inside the 20, for example, but you've also had a lot of negative plays on special teams. When you put it all together, how do you assess the special teams of late?
I don't look at everything entirely as one thing. I kind of go through the progression of each game, because one thing specifically with our crew, meaning our team, we've had a good amount of lineup changes. So you're assessing the way I like to do it is, what are we identifying the unit we're playing against as? How are we preparing for them? How are the players executing what we've prepared for them? Are we articulating things appropriately? Were things told correctly or not? I think that the results haven't been where we want them. There's no doubt about that. What I do see, and what is important to me, I know is the fabric of teams that are able to have success in any phase, is you don't see loafing, you don't see lack of strain. These are things that the miscues have to do with things that need to be coached up, and I don't continually see the same exact thing. So my confidence has not been affected. It's more that, are we continuing to get better and do those same things that happened last week or the week before happen this week relative to our opponent?
Mike Tomlin mentioned yesterday, as you have, that staff familiarity with players' talent and skill set can be overblown. But he did think that Brian Flores' presence on the staff would be a useful resource in that area. Specific to Tua and Coach Flores' knowledge of his strengths and weaknesses, how might that affect the way you want him to approach things, or how do you think it could affect the game?
I don't really, from my vantage point, I don't really make a correlation necessarily with that. It is good to have familiarity with players in a sense of some of their strengths and weaknesses, but at the same time, I think that's an evolving process for Tua. And also, every defense is trying to defend the offense. Defenses have tried various things against our offense with Tua at the helm, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't see a consistent theme. I think this game is about the players on the field playing against each other. more than anything.
As someone who loves football a lot, what's kind of your perception of Sunday night football, playing on Sunday night, especially against kind of a historic team like Pittsburgh, who's played on Sunday night a lot?
I typically don't like abstract questions, except I do. Sunday night football, Kyle Shanahan said this probably like 10 years ago, and I jumped on it because it made a lot of sense to me, and it was that it's really cool about Sunday night football is that more than anything, it's the TV, it's not the TV, it's not the viewership, it's that you're the only game on. And so on Sunday night in particular, the entire league is home from their games, and it's an opportunity for players to perform in front of their peers. So that's unique because there's all the stuff that's going on. I mean, you catch box scores and highlights, but I think that's a very cool thing in that respect. Then, once you get past that reality, I think it's more of a challenge to understand it for what it is. Anytime you are thinking about this is a big game or national television or things like that, that's an opportunity cost from thinking about what you need to do in your given game plan for your team to accomplish the goal. So it is cool for the players. I do tell them that. I told them in the off season. I think I said it to them after the pass game. But beyond that, it's more of a battle of which team can play football and ignore the noise or the clicking of cameras or things of that nature.
Mike,
Well played.
the fact you guys didn't IR Skylar, is that a sign that his test came back pretty good?
That is a sign that his test did come back. No, it's that would be a good sign. So it was more positive than negative overall. It was definitely not the worst case, and he's gonna be. I think he's probably doing jumping jacks today with Dave Paloka. It's probably not serious, but he'll get back into action sooner than later.
Mike, what do you want to see from Tua over the next few days of practice to show you that he can be the quarterback he was before he went down against the Bengals?
It's pretty easy considering there's an extensive amount of time spent on the relationship between the starting quarterback and the head coach and the play caller. So, those are hours and hours of field meeting room time, and you get to know each other pretty well. So, what I want to see is the same locked-in guy that I know when he's on it. He's laser focused. He's in his normal mood, but he doesn't lose a attention span at the task at hand, and that's what I've grown to love about the guy. That's why he's been able to have some success in a completely new language and system, and that will be my expectation for this week, because it is not the Tua Dolphins.
Mike, what have you seen from Tua over the past couple of weeks as he's been around the building?
Well, I've seen his love for the game, honestly, in a simple but not simple form. I've seen him, how much he loves his teammates and how he loves the game of football. I can see that he understands his responsibility as a leader, which he is fully embraced and resonates with all the guys. So he knows that he has to be in the moment for the players that are playing and contribute the way he can. And so he's been very positive. But I can also tell that like he is just he thirsts for the brotherhood, for the camaraderie, for the competition. You know, there's a saying like you never know what you had until, and I think that it was not that he didn't exude that, it was just blatantly obvious to everyone around him that he was missing out on something that he truly loves, and it's a cool thing to find out in an adverse situation about a player that you coach.
If I could follow up on that really quickly, you're saying like embracing his role as a leader for the guys who are actually playing. What did you, I guess, how did he do that at practice last week when he's returning from concussion protocol, but obviously knows that he's not playing Sunday? How did you see him balance wanting to get back to work versus sitting back and letting Skylar and Teddy take?
No, so that's not a lip service like thing that you're just like, I'm going to be a leader. And that's what's cool about it. What you saw was every single play of practice, saying the play, after I say it like he's saying in the huddle, then watching the timing of the concept, watching the footwork of Skylar, getting excited when perfect technique is executed because he knows it. Exactly what it looks like, and then you go through a entire practice. You're used to being the starting quarterback, which in the NFL season means you are taking every snap when the offense is up. So you get in a routine where it kind of goes by fast because you have all this stuff going on. Well, to see that focus last for the entire practice also speaks to the point that it's not just about him, his selflessness, which is why he has a unique aura of leadership that people gravitate to because it's genuine, authentic, and real.
Mike, you mentioned a Barry Jackson 2-for-1 for you. So after the game, you mentioned turnover margin is one of the numbers that you look at, that you deem very important. My question is, are you a guy who subscribes to you are what your record says you are? And then the second part, aside from record and turnover margin, what are the other numbers, either individual or team-wise, that you value?
No, I guess it's not really my personal belief in turnovers. That's just straight up facts, and as far as you are what your record says you are, I think there's truth in that because you to spend time saying, well, but this, that, or the other is a fool's errand. However, I think teams are whatever they define themselves that day. I think the Miami Dolphins are as good as their Wednesday. It's kind of, I think, the approach that when you watch great competitors across all sports, and just people that are doing anything at a high level, there's a common denominator there, and it has nothing to do with forecasting. We are this or that or whatever. It is present in the moment, and it is completely convicted, committed to what you're doing, knowing that will affect future outcomes. So for me, what I've been on a team that was that after last year I was on a team that lost 2 games or won 2 games and lost 4 in a row. It was in the NFC Championship game in 2015. We were 5-0 in Atlanta and finished 8-8. I think people clinging to what their record says they are, might be not quite focused on the job at hand, which is continuing to get better so you play your best football at the end of the season, which is what good teams end up doing. I think it's very hard to do that. I think there's a lot of noise about records, trends. You're 3-0 and you're awesome. You lose 3 in a row, and that will always be the case. But it's always going to be distraction techniques that if you're truly committed to being your best and having your team be your best, you have to and feel very comfortable ignoring.
Mike, Ridley mentioned Sunday Night Football earlier. Another element of that will be the 72 Dolphins honored. I know that you're a man of history. What stands out to you when you think about that team?
There's not a team that can be that iconic that still doesn't quite get the credit it deserves. Okay? The amount of adversity that was going on with that team, the surviving the injuries, some of the close games, some of the little details, as in this offseason, I was fortunate enough to speak with Larry Zonka about some of the little details that maybe the non-starter, third tight end on special teams noticed that ended up winning the game. You're talking about a record that in a team sport that is the strongest compliment feat that a team has ever really done in my opinion, sports, because football, it's a funny shaped ball and it bounces weird ways, and you have 11 people on the field representing one team at a time. So many things can happen, and the perseverance, when the streak got longer, the ability to not let the pressure crumble them, and then the changing quarterbacks in the playoffs. All of these things are, whoa, and I feel very, very fortunate to be a part of an organization that manifests that, because it's we talk about it every year. I know since I was 5, probably, Chris Berman and the champagne, every single year. That's wild, because a lot of people are trying and unable to match that feat.
If I could briefly follow on that, you guys don't mind, sorry. Popular topic, especially with the fan base, is the throwback jerseys. I'm curious if you have a preference on your current jerseys versus the throwback jerseys, if it was your choice.
I like winning jerseys. I like everyone to have the same jersey. I find value in both. I really do. I like our, and that speaks to the history of the 72 Dolphins, is because there's a feeling that those jerseys and that uniform elicits, and not just the 72, but all the things that have gone on since that. There are plenty of really, really great things. So, it is nice. I like wearing them as a change of pace. I also really do like our uniforms, especially when it's hot out and we're in all white.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that with Nick going down and Byron not being able to return this week. Are you comfortable with the depth at cornerback? Do you anticipate the team might need to make a move to try to add some bodies to that position?
Yeah. It'll be weird as if I'm a head coach for the Miami Dolphins and I'm not questioned about my comfortability with the defensive back group, because this is that's one of the things that was fortunate in the preseason, when we were finding out a lot about these younger guys. So to say, I'm always confident in the group we have, just because they prove it to me every day. It is challenging. People get more reps that have already been seeing reps. But I think that it's to the credit of the personnel department, the players themselves, and really our coaches that they're able to guys are able to step in and play to the technique and consistency. So it's I would, if we didn't have the competitors and loyal teammates in that room that were NFL talents, it would worry me. But just like it's been going on since August, we've had guys get dinged and guys step up. That's what that room does. That's the only way those guys know how to do it.
Updates.
Wait. Well, but she said. Well, they're both they both really want to play. They both definitely have a chance to, only because they're trying to will themselves, and it's both important to them. So that's one of the reasons we have so many good guys on the team that will fight through as much as possible. It makes Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday pretty questionable, but we're all comfortable adjusting. There's a lot of people working on the ship going in one direction. All right? Okay. Thanks.